Hi. Ew, my nose was runny. Ew, don't look. You didn't see that. Hey, it's been a long time since you guys have seen or heard anything from me. I won't apologize. I've been living my life as best as one can in these times and even my own individual struggles. I'd like to read you something that I've been writing. It was a prompt I saw on Pinterest of if I was my own best friend, how would I treat myself? Can you see me? You guys, I dyed my hair blue. Also, no more nose piercing. But it came out. But I dyed my hair blue. Here's my prompt. And I'll draw a card. You want me to draw a card for you, baby? You just had to say that. You just had to, that's it and that's all. It's okay, I'll draw a card for you. Here's the prompt now. If I was my own best friend, how would I treat myself? I'd reaffirm her every day. Upon entering her home, bearing gifts, bringing little trinkets and things. Oh, okay. I wrote tings on accident. I was like, what the fuck is that word? Little trinkets and things that I know she would love and enjoy. Seashells, scarves, candles, both ritual and smell goods. Candles. We'd share clothes and exchange books. We'd share perfume and she would rub my feet with a lotion she knew I would like. I'm not gonna lie, the lines got kind of blurred and I was just kind of talking to myself. I mean, not like that, but like I kind of switched. So it went from if I was my own best friend, how would I treat myself, to then it was like the pronoun switch from I to she. But follow me. She rubbed my feet with lotion she knew I would like. I would cook her favorite meals when she was sad. I'd surprise her with clothes I make. I'd wipe her tears and cuddle with her. I'd clean her room and tend to her garden when she's gone. I'd house sit. I would listen to her vent for hours and reaffirm that she's not ever too much or too sensitive. Something I've now realized is that my sensitivity is never too much for people who actually have the capacity to both understand and hold my intensity. I would respect her boundaries. I would know when to push past them. I'd be able to read her mind damn near intuitively. I know when she was about to come on her period, and I'd get her favorite snacks and build a tent and then make her own tea. Mullein tea. Not mullein, mugwort. And it helps with cramps. And if you want to have some dreams, drink mugwort. And it enhances intuition. I'd remember every day. And it's funny because I had started to write this last sentence. And I was going to say I'd remind her. But I had accidentally wrote I remember. And I had crossed it out, but I was like, fuck it, let me write it again. There's a reason it came out. It says, I'd remember every day that my presence on this earth is a gift. Yeah, that's how I treat myself if I was my own best friend. It's funny because I've never experienced a relationship like that before. Things that were similar had echoes and remnants of pieces of this. I say remnants because a lot of times those relationships were rebuilt using broken glass. Trust. I feel like the biggest factor in this prompt for me was trust. And you know, I've had my fair share of friends. I've had a couple best friends. Hell, I've even had sisters where there were time periods in our life where we did some of these things for each other. But I've never had a relationship that could meet me where I was fully, nakedly, transparently. And I think the beauty of that is that that's not an end-all be-all. Just because I haven't experienced it yet in my 20 years in this life doesn't mean that I won't. And I'd like to think that actually because I want it means that I already have it. Because that desire, that hope, that wish is in my heart, the fact that I can fathom it means that I'm perfectly capable of experiencing it, and that I probably already am. As soon as I looked at the clock, I saw 555. Cha. Holy fucking cha, man. I'm gonna pull you a card now. It's a Taurus new moon. And actually, it's funny that I'm even talking about, friendship and kinship, because my 7th house is in Taurus. And so that means that I approach my partnerships, dynamics, friendships, relationships as one would like a Taurus. Stable, consistent, loyal, sometimes stubborn. I can be very stubborn over the people that I love, also very protective. And I've had to learn how to balance that. Actually, I've had to learn how to walk away. I think my biggest lesson in this life and many lives has been, because I love so deeply and am such a loyal being, the lesson in this life is knowing when to walk away. And that can be very hard when your mind and heart are not balanced. And add on top of the fact that you're going through some shit emotionally, you can't see things clearly. Sometimes our heart keeps us in situations that we really don't need to be in because it feels comfortable, because we fear the grief that would come if we left that situation. We fear the new version of us that would be on the other side of that disconnection. Because sometimes when we have relationships with people, we identify with that person or the relationship we have with that person. So much so that we forget that we was a separate being before we even met them. And we will be after, if there is an ending. We are a separate being within the kinship. And when you love like I do, sometimes those lines get blurred. Enough of this sad shit. Excuse me. I'm in the habit of working on how I speak to myself as it pertains to my emotions. Excuse her. Moving on, I shall say. This is the card that I picked. I'm not sure that I can show her yitties on camera, so I don't cover them. But it says Untamed. Let's look it up. And I'm also a Scorpio rising, so I've dealt in a Scorpio Venus. I've dealt with a lot of betrayal. Actually, most of my wounding, most of my trauma has came from abandonment wounds and trauma. Now, I'm not above oversharing on the internet because I recognize that vulnerability creates freedom. If you hear and see me, perceive me being vulnerable, maybe it can serve as a reflection to yourself. Whether it be you don't feel alone, or you can reflect, think differently, do something differently. I don't know. But that was a disclaimer. Yeah, that was Kai's disclaimer. Most of my wounds have been from betrayal. Again, biggest lesson, knowing when to walk away. And something that I found is that usually, and this new moon is all about self. I'm gonna put a pin in that, okay? Just listen. Also, Taurus is the energy encompasses senses. So touch, feel. It's the same thing. Anyways, smell, see, taste. Mostly the sensual, like, experience. Like, they're all experiences, of course, like, different facets of the human experience, but specifically pleasure. And this new moon is all about self, right? Putting self first, doing self-care, tending to self's needs, right? Whether, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, if I'm not mistaken. And Venus is the sign of receptivity, receiving love, and also pleasure and softness. Not necessarily femininity, but it's associated with it. Yeah, because ja. But like, to me, like, as a non-binary person, I look at it from the lens of like feminine energy rather than just woman. I love my womb. I love my yoni, but sometimes I be feeling like a not woman, so I create space while also keeping in mind that other people also be feeling like a not woman. Anyways, yes, so this new moon is all about planting seeds of self-love, stability, financial security and stability. Because like I said, Taurus is about stability, but also has to do with material possessions and finances, resources. So yeah, and it's funny because we had a Scorpio full moon recently, and so I think collectively we've been going through it. Pluto's in retrograde right now, bro. I think we, of course, collectively are going through a lot of bullshit, a lot of purging, a lot of a lot of purging, a lot of deconstruction, a lot of destruction is going on in our society, in our own universes, in our own nervous systems, in our own soups, in our own souls. We are all evolving. Everybody who got a soul. But yeah, so I think I'm saying all this to say to really, really make sure that you are asking yourself, where am I? Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It's something that I've learned about betrayal is that it's not always solely on the other or others that are betraying you. A lot of times it happens, betrayal happens or can ensue when we first betray ourselves. And a lot of times for me that looked like looking past red flags. It looked like trying to keep the peace and people pleasing, not communicating my needs, and just the whole shebang. So something I've learned also as it pertains to the connections, the type of questions. Here's some questions you should ask yourself. What does true kinship and connection look like? But most importantly, what does it feel like here? What does it look like? What does it feel like here? Okay, I'm gonna read this card now. I'm gonna give you one last little tidbit. My brain is like, yeah. Relationships should always be reciprocal, right? Too often, especially in late stage capitalism and the patriarchy, a lot of relationships and connections are purely transactional. Hell is how our society is ran, dominantly. So, but I think, I don't know. Never mind. Let me keep going. Okay. Here is the card. It's on cover of her tongas. You're untamed. You're a delicious mass of contradictions. The light, the dark, the messy, the fear, the pain, the anger, the beauty, the ugly, the rage. This is your power. A deep down in your body power that invokes and activates every element of sassy, spiritual, authentic, sensual, sensational you, allowing you to reclaim and take up space. to know your boundaries, to be brave, courageous, creative, compassionate, and daring. Instead of shying away from the darker aspects of your true nature, you go there, you get to know it, you metabolize it, and it becomes fortifying. Magdalene, Isis, Hathor, Lilith, Joan of Arc, Boudica, Frida, Madonna, add the icon of your choice here, and are all urging you to walk your talk, to go there, to shake off the shackles and remember that you're she who cannot be tamed, no matter how hard they've tried and will continue to try. I expose my truest self to myself. That's the affirmation. Being untamed doesn't necessarily mean you have to strip, dance naked, and get a tattoo, although you absolutely can. It means being willing to expose your truest self to yourself. Then if you choose to share that with the world, we'll all benefit, and that's totally your call. Let yourself see you. Look at yourself in a mirror, naked or clothed. You decide, and dance with yourself. I actually did this today. I was not naked, but I danced with myself today. Move your hips and ask for more of yourself to reveal itself to you. And then this card also had came out, and it says protect. Protect. We're told that we must protect and save the planet, but honestly, she doesn't need saving. She's simply tired and pissed off about how we treat her and each other. She'll also totally figure it out and adapt, as she's done many times before. You've seen how weeds break through concrete, right? That's her in action. Instead, turn your attention to self-protection and not building walls to keep other people out. Because when we care for and tend to ourselves and those in need, we ultimately also protect and nurture Mama Earth. That's how it works. Let protection be a reciprocal flow of love and care for yourself, for others, for your community, for the animals. That's how we protect Mama Earth. Protect with love and care. I care, I nurture, I protect. The activation is, we often think that protection is shielding people or wearing our own coat of protective armor, real or energetic, to protect ourselves from outside influences. For a moment, drop those ideas and consider protection as more about creating strong boundaries that support you and staying in alignment with your values and truth. Where can you direct your support and care to create boundary protection versus putting up impenetrable walls? That definitely resonates, and that's something I literally said to myself yesterday. Actually, today, I said, what if I just live with an open heart and an open mind and be myself 24/7 and protect myself when I need to? What if I dare to walk this earth vulnerable, yet tough, but vulnerable? How can I still protect myself, my needs, my boundaries, my mind, and still allow myself to be loved, to receive love, to give love freely? Because that's one thing about me, my heart been broke so many times. I refuse to stop loving as deeply as I do, because then that would be me not being myself, you know? I love you. You're stronger than you know. You more loved than what you are aware of. And this earth would literally not be the same without you. So stay, because you're worth sticking around for. Happiest new moon in Taurus and Gemini. Praise be to the Most High. And take care of yourself today. Bye.